Hi, I'm Gian, but for short and sweet, they call me G. Hence, Keeping It G with G, the podcast. This is a weekly heart-to-heart based off of authentic life experiences and honesty, in hopes to inspire others to be more transparent about the ups and downs of everyday life shit. And to give you, the listeners, that extra push you may need to begin your own journey of self-help and healing. And please, keep in mind that I'm not an expert. I'm just speaking from experience. Now let's start the show. Happy Monday, y'all. I am back at it again with another episode. And this week's episode is going to be a little different from the past episodes that we've had, because this is the first time that I'm going to do a Q&A episode, which is where you guys submit advice or questions that you want to ask me, and then I give you my honest opinion or my honest advice regarding whatever topic it is that you've submitted. And I received a few emails over the course of the hiatus week last week, and so I'm using this episode as an opportunity to answer those back and give you my insight. So, and I'm going to keep all of these anonymous because they've asked to be anonymous, so I'm going to keep it that way and respect their wishes. And so with that, let's get right into these questions. Anonymous number 1 asks, "Hi G, I enjoy and look forward to tuning in to your podcast. I love the fact that you're unfiltered and honest with us about various topics. It makes me feel like I know you personally. So thank you for that." No, thank you for tuning in. I pride myself on being authentic and vulnerable and being honest about my shit so that I can inspire you guys to do the same, whether it's with yourself or with other people, so that they know what's really going on in your life. Of course, with people that you can trust and be genuine with. So I'm not just saying just with anyone. I'm saying, with the ones that you can trust the most. So, her question is, how do I stop feeling stuck in life? I feel like I'm making progress, but not getting anywhere. My answer is as follows. First, you have to figure out what it is or what you are doing that is stopping you from growing and getting to where you need to be in life. This could be you acknowledging the fact that you want to grow, but you're failing to be accountable, or you're failing to look around and see who you're surrounded by, and if they're not motivating you or doing good work in their life to be better, that could be a factor too. So sometimes it takes, some weeding out to get to where you need to be. You have to take action and actively do the work in your life in order to grow. And also, I want to add that when you are making progress, you have to acknowledge it and give yourself the credit, because it is going to motivate you to stay on path, and you're continuously keeping tabs on even the small strides of growth that you're making is going to motivate you and, make you feel like, okay, I'm doing something, I'm getting somewhere, even if it's small. I'm better than I was this time last year with this situation. So I'm making progress. So it's important for you to pat yourself on the back and give yourself credit for that. And lastly, don't forget to sit still, fast, and be present in the now so that you can appreciate where you are, and so that you can execute your future plans effortlessly. Rest is needed, so do not overwork yourself as it pertains to you working towards a specific goal or where you want to be in life. You have to be patient with yourself, but you also have to sit still and give yourself credit for those small strides that you make, because like I said, it's going to motivate you and keep you excited and keep you optimistic towards the future. So that's that on that. And then anonymous number 2 asks, first and foremost, I appreciate you being vulnerable and authentic on your podcast. It's been helping me to be more honest with myself and others about my feelings in the way that I deal with others. That's good, girl. That's very good. My question for you is, how do you manage being a working mom, balancing family, and making time for yourself? Ooh. So to break this down so that I can answer this question thoroughly, first and foremost, I make sure I take the necessary time I need for myself first so that I can breathe a little, so that I can healthily balance mom life, work, and family time, because I am someone who always likes to make sure that I am dotting all my I's and crossing all my T's as it pertains to those I love and care about the most. My heart is super big, and I'm always trying to make sure everyone around me is feeling good. And sometimes I'm human, I forget about myself, but I'm doing much better at making sure that I put myself first. So back to my answer. In order for me to pour into others, my cup has to be full, period. If I've stopped, and I have stopped making excuses for not taking the time I need, trying to put too much on my plate at one time, and just ask for help when I need it. That way I relieve some stress and I'm able to clearly focus on all the tasks I need to get done. I'm still working on being present and handling one thing at a time, like I said, which I'm getting better at. But a few things that I like to do to recharge and reset so that I am able to balance work, family, and mom life are unplugging from social media as frequently as I need to, because I've said this in previous episodes that it can get a little foggy when you're constantly logging in and you're constantly looking at different posts, like your timeline or the shade room or whatever it is that is your vice, or whatever's on your timeline. It can get a little foggy and it can take up a lot of time, whether you know it or not, being on social media, excuse me. And so I unplug from that frequently. That's one thing that I like to do. Journaling, which I am a number one advocate for. I'm going to say journaling probably in every episode. And when I journal, I just write. Sometimes I write on something specific, but most times I just go and just write without thinking, and then it just flows naturally. Reading, of course, or just not doing anything at all, especially on Sundays. Sundays are my favorite days. Those are the days, that's the day of the week where I designate to myself. Other than cooking my meal for the week, I pretty much relax. So that's that on that. And don't feel guilty about taking time for yourself, because it's necessary, sis. Okay. So, anonymous number 3 asks, you talk a lot about self-discovery, self-help, and self-healing. And I want to start my journey on that, but I'm not sure where to start. What's your advice on that? Okay, so I want to congratulate you on wanting to begin your journey of self-help, because it's imperative to your growth. The first step you must do is find some self-help books, because that's what I did. And like I said, I was following Alex L already a couple of years back, so that helped jumpstart too, because she's extremely motivating in her delivery in her books and things like that. So, like I said, the self-help books, some of them that I've mentioned on previous episodes are books like The 4 Agreements, the book by Brene Brown called The Gifts of Imperfections that I love so much. do some journaling, but while you journal, you must be accountable and start slow. Just start by listing 3 to 5 things that you need to work on regarding your growth and your healing process. For example, write down your goals and working every day towards executing them, weeding out things, people, and behaviors that are stifling your growth, like things like that. Accountability and taking action afterwards are going to be 2 key factors in the process of self-help in your healing journey, because you have to be accountable. You have to be able to be vulnerable. It's going to hurt. It's going to be ugly, but it's going to be beautiful once you get to the point where you're healed and you can see the healing and you can see the growth in yourself and the things that you're surrounded by. And so that is basically the 3 questions that I received via email while I was on the hiatus week. So I'm so glad that I took the opportunity to dedicate this episode to you ladies who emailed me. I enjoyed that. I love that you guys are beginning to reach out and ask questions, because that's what I'm here for, to give you that extra push or motivation in whatever area of your life that you feel like I can help you in. I'm not an expert. I'm going to always say that, but I have been through my fair share of things in life, and to where I've allowed it to grow me and not define who I am as far as my mistakes and my failures. I like to take it all as a lesson and let it fuel my growth. And I'm glad, again, that you guys are reaching out. I really, really enjoyed that segment. I'm going to try to do that at least once a month, if not more frequently. It just depends on the traffic of the questions that I receive via DM or email. And you can email me at askg@gmail.com if you are, interested in submitting your questions for advice. And that's askgxxh@gmail.com. I'll put that in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe, to follow the IG and Twitter for the pod. All that information will be in the show notes. And follow up with me if you begin to read August's book this month. I put a couple of excerpts from that book on the podcast page for on Instagram, and it's Keeping It G with G .the-pod, and that's KEEPINITGWG.the-pod. That's the Instagram page, and that'll also be in the show notes if you guys are interested. And that is going to wrap this episode up. I really, really, really thoroughly enjoyed answering these questions for you ladies, and I hope that you guys are going to find my answers to be helpful and resourceful as it pertains to the topics that you had given me in these questions. And that's it. So I will talk to you guys next week, same time, same place, for episode 22. Y'all have a great week. Remember to try your best to be a blessing and not a burden. It's Monday. We'll get through it. Just stay focused and stay optimistic. You got this.